Hi there, English learners. You're watching Easy and Fast English Learning, and I'm Ethan. Here we make English simple, practical, and easy to use in real life. No confusing grammar talk, no pressure. Just clear lessons that help you speak faster, understand more, and sound more natural step by step. Today, I want to talk about something that many English learners struggle with every single day. You read English. You study English. You spend time with English. But when you close the book, everything disappears. You read a whole article yesterday. Today, you cannot remember one sentence from it. You studied 10 new words last week. This week, you can only remember 2 or 3. You watched an English video. You understood everything. But 1 hour later, if someone asks you, "What did you learn?" your mind goes blank. Does this sound familiar? If it does, please stay with me. Because today, I am going to help you understand why this happens. And more importantly, I am going to give you a simple system to change it. The pain you feel is real. Let me describe something. Tell me if this is your experience. You sit down to read an English book or an article. You read carefully. You look up new words. You highlight sentences. You feel good. You feel like you are learning. But the next day, someone asks you about what you read. And you cannot explain it. Not even in your own language. Not even one main idea. Or maybe this happens. You memorize a list of vocabulary. You repeat the words again and again. You feel confident. But when you are in a real conversation, those words do not come to your mouth. Your brain feels empty. Your tongue feels frozen. Or maybe you listen to English podcasts every day. You understand most of the words. But when you try to speak, you cannot build a sentence. You know the pieces, but you cannot put them together. And then you start to think, maybe I am not smart enough. Maybe my memory is too weak. Maybe English is just not for me. I want to tell you something important right now. This is not your fault. Please hear me clearly. Your memory is not broken. Your method needs to change. Your brain is not weak. Your study system needs to be stronger. You are not stupid. You are just using a passive way to learn, and passive learning does not build strong memory. Think about it this way. If you watch someone cook a meal every day for a year, can you cook that meal perfectly? Probably not. Because watching is not doing. If you watch someone swim for 6 months, can you jump into the water and swim? No, because seeing is not the same as practicing. English works the same way. Reading is not enough. Listening is not enough. Watching is not enough. These things are important, but they are only the first step. They are not the whole journey. The reason you forget what you read is not because your brain is broken. It is because your brain never had a chance to truly process the information. It never had a chance to make that information yours. And today I am going to show you how to change that. What this video will give you. In this video, I will explain 5 simple lessons. Each lesson will help you understand one part of the memory process. Each lesson will give you one simple practice you can do every day. You do not need expensive courses. You do not need a private teacher. You do not need to study for 5 hours a day. You need a better method, a smarter method, a method that works with your brain, not against it. By the end of this video, you will have a clear, simple system. A system you can start using today. A system that will help you remember more, understand deeper, and speak with more confidence. Are you ready? Let's begin. Lesson 1: Why you forget what you read. Here is a question for you. When you read English, what do you actually do? Most learners do this. They read from the first word to the last word. They move their eyes across the page. They understand the general meaning. And then they close the book. That is it. That is the whole process. And then they wonder why they cannot remember anything the next day. Here is the reason. Your brain has two types of processing. One is shallow processing. The other is deep processing. Let me explain this simply. Shallow processing means your brain touches the information lightly, like your finger touching the surface of water. It makes a small ripple, but it disappears quickly. When you only read words with your eyes, when you only recognize the meaning for a moment, that is shallow processing. The information enters your brain, but it does not stay. It has no roots. It has no connections. So it fades away. Deep processing is different. Deep processing means your brain works hard with the information. It connects the new information to things you already know. It asks questions, creates meaning. It builds something. Think of it like this. Shallow processing is like writing on sand. The waves come and the words disappear. Deep processing is like carving into wood. Takes more effort, but the words stay. So when you read a whole chapter and forget everything, it is not because you are forgetful. It is because your reading was too shallow. Your brain never carved anything into the wood. Here is a question. Have you ever read something that made you feel a strong emotion? Maybe it made you laugh. Maybe it made you feel surprised. Maybe it connected to your own life experience. Do you remember that thing more clearly than other things you read? Of course you do, because emotion creates deep processing. Your brain pays more attention when something feels important or personal. This is called the self-reference effect. When information connects to your own life, your brain remembers it much better. So here is your first simple practice. After you read one paragraph in English, stop. Close the book or look away from the screen. And ask yourself this question. What did I just read? Can I explain the main idea in my own simple words? Do not look back at the text. Try to remember. Try to explain. This is hard at first. Your mind might feel empty. That is okay. That feeling of difficulty is actually good. It means your brain is working. It means you are moving from shallow processing to deep processing. You do not need to read 10 pages. Read one paragraph. Then stop and think. That is enough. One paragraph. One pause. One explanation in your own words. Do not rush through English. Slow down and go deep. Because reading fast and forgetting everything is not learning. Reading slowly and remembering one idea. That is real progress. Lesson 2. Your brain remembers what it retrieves. Let me ask you something. When you study vocabulary, what do? Many learners do this. They look at a word list. They read the word. They read the meaning. They read it again, and again, and again. They feel like they are learning because the word looks familiar. They see it and think, yes, I know this word. But here is the truth. Recognizing a word is not the same as remembering it. Familiarity is not fluency. Let me give you an example. Imagine you see someone's face on the street. You think, I have seen this person before. But can you tell me their name? Can you tell me where you met them? Probably not. That is the difference between recognition and recall. Recognition means you can identify something when you see it. Recall means you can bring it back from your memory without any help. When you read a word list again and again, you are only practicing recognition. You are training your brain to say, "Yes, I have seen this before." But you are not training your brain to find that word when you need it. This is why you understand words when you read them, but you cannot use them when you speak. Your brain can recognize them, but it cannot retrieve them. So what should you do instead? You should practice retrieval. This is called active recall. It means you close the book and try to remember without looking. Here is how it works with reading. You read a paragraph. You learn a new word or a new idea. Then you close the book. You wait a moment, and you ask yourself, what was that word? What did it mean? Can I use it in a sentence? Do not look at the answer immediately. Let your brain struggle a little. Let it search. Let it work. That moment of struggle, that moment when your brain is searching for the answer, that is when memory gets stronger. That is when the connection in your brain becomes deeper. Think of it like exercise. When you lift something heavy, your muscles work hard. They feel tired, but after rest, they grow stronger. Your brain works the same way. When it struggles to remember, it grows stronger. So please do not be afraid of that blank feeling. Do not be afraid of forgetting. Forgetting is not failure. Forgetting is the signal that tells you, this is where I need to practice more. Every time you try to remember and succeed, the memory becomes a little stronger. Every time you try to remember and fail, you know exactly what to review. Here is your practice for this lesson. After you read something in English today, wait 5 minutes. Then take a blank piece of paper and write down everything you can remember. Do not look at the original text. Write the main idea. Write any new words you remember. Write any sentences that stayed in your mind. It does not matter if you only remember a little. The act of trying to remember is what makes your brain stronger. Then, after you finish writing, go back and check. See what you remembered correctly. See what you missed. And review the parts you forgot. This is retrieval practice. And it is one of the most powerful learning methods that scientists have ever discovered. Do not only read English. Retrieve English. Do not only see words. Pull them back from your memory. Because the information you can retrieve is the information you truly own. Lesson 3. Connect new English to what you already know. Let me tell you a story. Imagine you walk into a room full of strangers. You do not know anyone. You feel uncomfortable. You want to leave. Now imagine you walk into a different room. In this room, you see your best friend. Immediately, you feel better. You walk toward your friend. Your friend introduces you to other people. Now the room feels less scary. Now you feel connected. Your brain works the same way with new information. When you read a new English word or a new idea, and it has no connection to anything in your brain, it feels like a stranger. Your brain does not know where to put it, so it throws it away. It forgets it quickly. But when a new word connects to something you already know, a memory, a feeling, a picture, a story from your life, your brain says, "Oh, I know where this belongs," and it keeps it. This is called semantic encoding. It means your brain remembers things better when they have meaning and connections. Let me give you a simple example. Imagine you read the word resilient in an English article. You look it up. It means able to recover quickly from difficulty. If you just memorize this definition, you will probably forget it in 2 days. But what if you think about a time in your life when you were resilient? Maybe you failed an exam and tried again. Maybe you lost something important and slowly rebuilt your life. Maybe you struggled with English for years and you are still here, still learning. Now the word resilient is not just a definition. It is connected to your story. It has emotion. It has meaning. It has roots in your memory. That is deep processing. That is how you make English stay in your brain. Here is another way to build connections. Use comparison. When you learn a new word, ask yourself, is this similar to another word I already know? How is it different? When you read a new idea, ask yourself, have I heard something like this before? How does this connect to what I already believe? When you learn a new grammar structure, ask yourself, when would I use this in my real life? What situation would I need this? Every connection you build is like a rope holding that piece of information in place. One rope is weak, can break easily. But 10 ropes? 20 ropes? Now that information is secure. Now it will not fall away. So here is your practice for this lesson. When you read something new in English today, do not just read it and move on. Stop and ask yourself 3 questions. 1. What does this remind me of in my own life? 2. Can I create a picture in my mind for this? 3. Can I explain this to someone else using my own simple words? If you can do these 3 things, you are no longer just reading. You are building. You are connecting. You are making English part of your own story. Do not collect English words like stamps in a book. Weave them into the fabric of your life. Because words without connections are easy to lose. But words with meaning, with emotion, with personal stories, those words become part of you. Lesson 4. Say it out loud before you feel ready. I want to ask you an honest question. When was the last time you spoke English out loud? Not in your head. Out loud. With your voice. With your mouth moving. With sound coming out. Many English learners spend months reading and listening. They consume English every day. But they never produce English. They never speak. They never write. They never create their own sentences. And then they wonder why they cannot speak fluently. Here is the truth. Reading and listening are input. Speaking and writing are output. And your brain treats them very differently. Input helps you understand. Output helps you use. Input fills your brain with material. Output trains your brain to find that material quickly. Think of it like a warehouse. You can fill a warehouse with thousands of boxes. But if you never practice finding the right box quickly, what happens when someone asks you for something? You stand there, looking around, feeling lost. You know the box is somewhere inside, but you cannot find it fast enough. That is what happens when you try to speak English. The words are somewhere in your brain, but your brain has never practiced finding them quickly. So your mouth stays silent. Your mind feels frozen. This is about output fluency. It means your brain needs practice producing language, not just receiving it. And here is something important. You do not need to be perfect to start speaking. You do not need to wait until your grammar is correct. You do not need to wait until you know enough words. Waiting for perfection is a trap, because perfection never comes. Not for you, not for me, not for anyone. Every fluent speaker you admire started by speaking badly. They made mistakes. They sounded strange. They forgot words in the middle of sentences. But they kept going. And slowly, their brain got faster. Their mouth got more comfortable. Their confidence grew. Speaking is not the result of fluency. Speaking is the cause of fluency. You do not speak because you are fluent. You become fluent because you speak. So here is what I want you to do. After you read something in English, do not just close the book. Open your mouth. Explain what you read, out loud, to yourself, to your phone, to your mirror, to your pet. It does not matter who is listening. What matters is that your mouth is moving and your brain is working to produce language. This is where reading and speaking connect. When you read something and then explain it out loud, you are doing two powerful things at once. You are retrieving the information from your memory, and you are practicing producing English with your voice. This is double training. This is how you turn passive knowledge into active ability. Here is your practice for this lesson. Today, read one short paragraph in English. Then close the book. Set a timer for 60 seconds. And speak out loud. Explain what you read. Use your own words. Do not worry about grammar. Do not worry about pronunciation. Just speak. 60 seconds. That is all. If you cannot fill 60 seconds, that is fine. Start with 30 seconds. Start with 15 seconds. Start with one sentence. The point is not to be perfect. The point is to start. Do not wait for confidence to come before you speak. Speak and confidence will follow. Because confidence does not come from studying more. Confidence comes from doing the thing you are afraid of, again and again until it feels normal. Reading builds your knowledge, but speaking builds your power. Lesson 5. Review at the right time. Let me ask you one more question. After you learn something new in English, when do you review it? Many learners do this. They study something on Monday. They feel good about it. Then they do not look at it again until the next week, or the next month, or never. And when they finally come back to it, everything is gone. They have to start from zero. This is frustrating. Feels like all that time was wasted. It feels like your brain is a broken container that cannot hold anything. But your brain is not broken. This is simply how memory works. Without review, memories fade. This is natural. This is normal. This happens to everyone. The question is not whether you will forget. You will forget. Everyone forgets. The question is, when will you review? There is a concept called spaced repetition. Let me explain it simply. When you learn something new, your memory of it is fresh but fragile. Like a young plant. If you do not water it, it dies quickly. But if you review it at the right time, just before you are about to forget, something magical happens. Your memory gets stronger. The plant grows deeper roots. And each time you review at the right moment, the memory lasts longer. The first time you might forget after one day. So you review after 1 day. Now it lasts 3 days. So you review after 3 days. Now it lasts 1 week. Then 2 weeks. Then a month. Each review makes the memory stronger and longer lasting. And each review takes less effort than the one before. This is the power of timing. It is not about how much you study. It is about when you study. Reviewing too soon is wasteful. The memory is still fresh. You do not need to water a plant that is already wet. Reviewing too late is also wasteful. The memory is already dead. You have to plant a new seed from the beginning. But reviewing at just the right moment, that is efficient. That is smart. That is how you build long-term memory with less effort. So how do you do this in practice? Here is a simple system. You do not need any special app. You just need a notebook and a little discipline. When you read something in English and find a useful word, a good sentence, or an important idea, write it down in your notebook. Write the date next to it. Then follow the schedule. Review it the next day. Review it again after 3 days. Review it again after 1 week. Review it one more time after 2 weeks. Each time you review, do not just read it. Test yourself. Cover the meaning and try to remember. Cover the sentence and try to rebuild it. Close the notebook and try to say it out loud. This is active review. This is retrieval practice combined with spaced repetition. And it is incredibly powerful. You do not need to review everything. Choose the most useful things. Choose the words you want to use. Choose the sentences that feel important to you. 5 words a day. 3 sentences a day. That is enough. Small and consistent beats big and occasional. Do not try to remember everything at once. Build your memory slowly, like building a wall 1 brick at a time. Here is your practice for this lesson. Get a small notebook. Today, write down 3 things you learned from this video. Just 3. Write them in English. Write today's date. Tomorrow, open that notebook and try to remember those 3 things without looking. Then check. Do this again in 3 days. And again in 1 week. You will be amazed at how much more you remember when you review at the right time. Forgetting is not your enemy. Forgetting is just a signal that says, come back and visit me again. And every time you come back, the memory grows stronger. Every time you return, English becomes more yours. Bringing it all together. Let me summarize what we talked about today. Lesson 1. Go deep, not fast. When you read, stop and think. Explain the main idea in your own words. Do not just let your eyes slide across the page. Lesson 2. Practice retrieving, not just recognizing. Close the book and try to remember. That struggle is what makes your brain stronger. Lesson 3. Connect new English to your life. Build meaning. Build emotion. Build personal stories around new words and ideas. Lesson 4. Speak out loud. Do not wait for perfection. Open your mouth and produce English, even if it is messy and imperfect. Lesson 5. Review at the right time. Come back to what you learned before it disappears. Small reviews, done consistently, build powerful long-term memory. These 5 lessons are not complicated. They are simple. But simple does not mean easy. Simple means clear. Simple means you know exactly what to do. The hard part is doing it. Every day. Even when you are tired. Even when you do not feel like it. Even when you do not see results immediately. But I promise you this. If you follow this system, even in a small way, even for just 10 minutes a day, you will start to notice a difference. Words will come back to you more easily. Ideas will stay in your mind longer. Speaking will feel less scary. Not because you suddenly became smarter, but because you changed your method. Because you started working with your brain instead of against it. A few words of encouragement. Before I finish, I want to say something directly to you. I know this journey is hard. I know there are days when you feel like you are not making progress. I know there are moments when you want to give up. But please look at where you are right now. You are watching a video in English. You are listening. You are trying to understand. You are still here. That is not nothing. That is something powerful. You did not quit. You did not give up. You showed up today. And showing up is the most important step. From today, I want you to stop saying, I always forget everything. Instead say, I am learning how to remember. Stop saying, I cannot speak English. Instead say, I am building my English 1 sentence at a time. Stop saying, my brain is not good enough. Instead say, "My brain just needs the right method and enough practice." You are not behind. You are not too slow. You are not too old. You are not too late. You are exactly where you need to be. And every small step you take today brings you closer to the English you want. One paragraph a day. One sentence spoken out loud. One word reviewed at the right time. One small habit repeated with patience. That is all you need. Not perfection. Not speed. Not talent. Just consistency. Just patience. Just trust in the process. You are doing better than you think. And I am proud of you for being here. One last thing. If this video helped you today, I would be so happy if you subscribe to this channel. I make these videos to help you learn English in a calm, clear, and encouraging way. And when you subscribe, you help me continue making them. And I have one small challenge for you. In the comments below, I want you to write one sentence. Just one. Tell me, what is one thing you learned from this video? Write it in English. It does not need to be perfect. It does not need to be long. Just one simple sentence. Because the moment you write that sentence, you are already practicing. You are already using English. You are already building your memory. And that is how change begins. Not with big plans. Not with perfect systems. But with one small action taken today. Thank you for watching. Thank you for learning with me. And thank you for trusting yourself enough to keep going. I am Ethan, your English teacher, and I will see you in the next video. Take care, my friend, and keep going, one step at a time.